Hello, I'm Sarah, the necromancer, bringing this channel back to life. Not that it was ever very lively to begin with, but somehow there are 174 subscribers, so I figured if there's at least one of you wondering when I am going to upload another video making some sort of historical costume, I owe it to you to say that I'm not going to do that kind of video anymore. It's not a very practical kind of content to make when you're trying to balance a full-time job and a social life and working out and all that. It's way too time consuming and a bit of a financial burden too, because all those fabrics are super expensive and then they also take so much space in your house. So yeah, I'm not going to do videos like that anymore, but I am going to start uploading again because I recently visited the Trinity College Library in Dublin and the Book of Kells experience, and it awoke things in me. It reminded me how much I love history and the Middle Ages especially, and how much I love sharing it. So I've decided to go and do a master's in history, but not yet. Because maybe I should give a bit of background on myself. I don't have any formal academic background in history, but I have worked in public history. My academic background is more in the fine arts. I have a bachelor in fine arts, more specifically multimedia art. But in the meanwhile, I have worked in the museum sector and I've also done a bit of historical reenactment. And I have in the past tried to do a master's in history. At the time, it didn't work due to many things, but mostly because it was before the pandemic, so no one believed in remote work or remote studying. So yeah, just the commutes from my home to workplace to university back home, all of that was adding up to like 4 or 5 hours a day. So I wasn't sleeping properly, I wasn't eating properly, I was ill all the time. It was just wrecking my health in a way that nothing else has ever done before. And I eventually quit even before the end of the first semester. But I also noticed, and it was adding to that struggle, that despite having been accepted in the masters, I just didn't really have a good foundation of historical knowledge to be able to keep up. If I was doing the masters full time, I could have just studied harder and gotten myself that foundation and eventually managed to catch up with my colleagues that came from either history degrees or things that are very adjacent to it, like archaeology. But yeah, I was way behind them, and also commuting for a total of 4 or 5 hours a day. So it wasn't feasible, and I ended up quitting. But now people do believe in remote work and remote studying, and my job happens to be fully remote. So the plan is to follow more or less, kind of loosely, the program from the Portuguese Open University. I really browsed their website. I read everything that they have on their history bachelors. I could have signed up for it. I think when I first checked it on their website, applications were still open, but I am not very interested in spending money at the moment, especially not to acquire another bachelor's degree that I don't really need And by that I mean I don't need the credential, I don't need the diploma. The one that I have clearly already gives me access to apply and be accepted to a master's degree. So I don't need another diploma. I just need the content. I just need the knowledge. And I can do that just by reading and making some projects to cement that knowledge. And you are now being recruited as my accountability buddies as I go through this. I am planning on doing sort of weekly, I'm hoping weekly, but I'm not promising vlogs, just showing the study process and the time management that I'm already guessing it's going to be complicated. And yeah, just share a bit of what I've been learning. And for each module, I am also planning on doing, besides the vlogs, doing some sort of larger video project, like focusing on a theme, something that catches my interest in each module, and making at least one or two of those like more well researched in-depth videos. So that's it. I hope you stick around, and I'll be back next week, hopefully, with a vlog.